Hello everyone and welcome back to the video. So today we're going to be talking about a French builder that I've played a ton of games with on the ladder, and I've gotten some crazy free wins with it. And even when there's been some adversity, I was able to push through and poke my opponent out into an eventual victory. It doesn't work every time. I had a couple losses with it, but it's a very strong, very aggressive builder that catches a lot of people off guard. It is the French Knights, so Royal Cavalry, into Springald, all in Castle Age with the guild hall. Let's hop into it. I'm going to show you guys exactly how I've been doing it and teach you guys the way of the French. So let's do it here. I'm playing as the AI, of course, and I'm ready to go. So it's going to be the French versus the English. Let's hop into it. So first step is 6-2 food, and then you're going to go ahead and pick up sheep as normal. So this is very standard. Then you can actually put 2 more onto sheep. So we're going to have 8 on sheep total. Very important to know the numbers. And if you guys are having trouble keeping track of the numbers from a video, obviously you can watch it multiple times, but I will be posting this in my Discord, available for all my Twitch subscribers as the first Age of Empires 4 builder. We've been known to do AOE2 builders, of course, if you guys have been on the channel for a while. And this is going to be our first AOE4 builder that I post for subscribers to my stream in my Discord. Both links, or links to both of those, will be in the description below. But anyway, so 8 to food, sorry, 8 to sheep, and then the next one is then I have to immediately make a house here as it comes out closer to gold. And I'm going to show you why it's okay to get quote-unquote house in this game. So as soon as you make it, you make the house. House takes, I believe, 15 seconds, and villas with French take 18 seconds. And yeah, so you're just going to continue exploring. Again, exploring your opponent is not very important right away. You want to just look for sheep at the moment. Yeah, very good. Alright, so again, we're not actually pop capped because as soon as the house is made, the villager comes out, so it's okay. We don't lose any time in the TC here. This is completely optimized, no worries. Alright, let's pick up the sheep, continue scouting with the scout, of course. And then eventually make our way back. You want to make your way back around when you have like 3-4 on gold. You want to make your way back with the scout because that's when your sheep kind of start running out. Alright, so again, I'm picking up a lot of sheep here. It doesn't really matter how much you find. As long as you find like 2 or 3, you'll be like more than okay to do this build. The more you find, the better, of course. It just means that you can delay going to outer food sources like the deer, the berries, and farms. You have just some safe sheep under your TC. Alright, so awesome. And this build, we stay 1 town center, so we don't add a second base ever. And now we're going to go for the 5th village on gold. So it's 8 to food, 5 to gold, and like I said, I will provide a notepad or a document to help keep track of the numbers. And yeah, that's 5 on gold. And now the next one, we'll go over to the wood. So we're gonna actually make a house, and then we're gonna make a lumber camp at this ville. And we're gonna go for 2 on wood here. All right. So again, 2 on wood, and the reason why we're not doing like heavy wood, and then we're gonna go ahead and do that. Next one on wood. And we're going to click up. So we're going to click up with 3 villas from the gold. And you want to make the School of Cavalry. And you want to make it as close to the town center as possible. Even this is a little far, I'm not going to lie. And the reason you want to have it close to your TC is I make a ville here. There it is. So just 2 villas on wood. And now the rest of the villas just go to food under your TC. You're going to see us go to deer very soon, because deer is a very good source of food in Age of Empires 4. And at this point, you want to scout your opponent, by the way, if it wasn't clear enough by my scouting pattern. You need to find your opponent because we're going to actually look for some early damage with the knights, and you're going to see exactly how that plays out. Alright, so again, just taking all kinds of deer. There's no decay, so you can get careless with it. And yeah. And the reason you want to make it close to your town center is in case there's early pressure. I know Mongols like to pressure early. I played a game against Viper, and he actually pressured me pretty hard with English men-at-arms. Like he made like 3 men-at-arms or Vanguard men-at-arms, whatever they call it, in Dark Age. And it really pressured me, and it hurt me since my School of Cavalry was far from my town center. So like I said, highly recommend you make it even a little bit closer to your town center, but you definitely use gold villas for it. Alright, when you can afford a lumber camp, a mill, excuse me. We're going to go ahead and make a mill with 5 villagers. Go straight to the deer. And the reason why we use 5 villas is that in case we need to do an outpost and protect the deer, 5 villas can fit into an outpost perfectly, and it's a really good amount to gather the deer as well. The rest of the villas now at home will go only on sheep for the next little while, and we'll see the number on food by the time we transition back over to gold. We really don't need any wood for this builder, and you're not meant to adapt this builder and go for a range. This really is a pretty all-in strategy used to abuse, or it's only viable because you're abusing how strong the French really are. And like I said, this doesn't work every time. If your opponent goes for the counter strategy, it's going to be hard to make it work. But it's pretty consistent. I beat some high-level opponents with it. So I highly recommend you give it a go. Alright, we're going to immediately make a knight as soon as you get up to the next age. And you have 5 on gold, which is going to be like perfect number to continue making knights throughout the feudal age. At this point, we're going to send 4 villas over to a berry patch. This is because sheep at this point will start to run out. If you have more sheep, you can delay this or you can skip it altogether. But for the sake of consistency, let's assume that your sheep will start to run out. And your cavalry will go straight across the map now, right to your opponent. Notice how we can always afford to make royal cav throughout the entire feudal age here. And making the mill, awesome. Getting the royal cav over. And the goal with the royal cav is to harass villagers and not get them killed. It's okay to lose HP because we can heal them with the tech later. But do not, whatever you do not get the cav killed. We're going to go straight over to your opponent and look for any damage you can get. Like I see a villager here tripping. Obviously, it's the AI, so it doesn't really matter what happens. But I'm going to just show you a way to get good damage here. And that's to utilize the charge attack. So whatever villager you find, like even if you find it like under the TC, we'll go for this one. This is more of a realistic example. Alright, we're going to go for this one here. It's a charge, then 1 attack. Charge, 1 attack. Oh, that one survived with 2 HP for some reason. That probably should not be the case, but we'll look for another bill. Sometimes they die with, like, that was weird. That one surviving was weird, but normally it's charge and 1 attack and you can kill the vill. Of course, in a tutorial it messes up. I'm actually not sure why that messed up. Maybe someone in the comments can let me know. But point is, we want to get harassment, and this will... I think the English have more armor or something. They're surviving with 2 HP, and they really shouldn't. They really should be dying after the second hit after the charge. Okay. So anyways, we're going to continue harassing, and at this point, it's kind of subjective when you do it. I have 20 on food right now. I don't think you need to go for a number. But at some point where your food starts to rise, you want to go and switch right back over to the gold. Now, at this point, I'm going to stop attacking here just because I want to focus on the builder. So we make a few royal knights, and then we're going to make like 4 or 5, and then we're going to get the upgrade. So the goal is you use them to attack your opponent, and then you go ahead and heal them, and then just stay on defense. So if anyone has any retaliation, you can defend with the knights, and they'll be full HP. So anyway, we attacked, we made like 4 or 5. Now I'm going to go over to gold and just go heavy on gold because we need 600 to be able to click up. I'll harass one more vill. Alright. There we go. Picking up some vills. And again, you want to do this for as long as possible. Don't stay back here. Harass your opponent. It's very important. I'm just going to focus more on the economy bit for now. Alright, at this point, depending on how much food you have under your town center, you're going to want to take another food source here. So I'm going to take 5 vills, and I'll take a tier patch or a berry patch. Whatever is closer or whatever is safer, or whatever you feel comfortable taking. Doesn't matter what you take, just take any food source you can find. Because that's going to be good. And again, we're not taking that food source to click up. We're taking that food source to get consistent food in the castle age. At this point, we're going to get the chivalry tech so that your knights can heal. And again, I stress, in a real game, we'd be attacking way more with the knights, way more. Alright, we're going to be going to gold, and the goal here is to get 1200 food at the same time, 600 gold. As you can see, it is a little bit delayed on my end. I have more food than I have gold, but it's not going to be too crazy. I'm probably going to hit 1200 food a little bit faster than I hit 600 gold. But again, if you do this perfectly, you're going to hit them both at the same time. Alright. And again, 2 on wood because we don't actually need a whole lot of wood here. It really is a very all-in build. Alright, fantastic. Continuing to send to gold here. And in Castle Age, we're going to continue going all-in. It's not going to get, we're not going to start adding economy, don't worry. We're going to go even heavier on the all-in here. Alright, at this point when you have enough... Oh, AIs in feudal age, nice. At this point when you have enough food to click up, you want to take your food villas under the TC. Put all of them to wood. If you want to keep one because you have 1 sheep left, do it, but it's okay. And I'm going to go over to a second gold, and I'm going to start flooding villas only on that second gold. As soon as you can click up, you want to use any villas that are safe to click up. I'm going to use these berry villas, and you want to go for the guild hall. Very important to go for the guild hall, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. At this point, you want to continue adding knights. So after you click up, you want to continue adding knights. Notice I stopped making knights after I got the upgrade, or after I felt like I was safe. You can delay this in a real game. You can continue adding knights, if because it is risky to stop production. So if you want to continue adding knights, feel free to do that. You're up a little bit later, but you have a little bit more, you'll be a little bit more secure. And on the way up, you want to pick up the wood upgrade, and that is the best one to pick up because it doesn't cost any wood, and you're going to need a lot of wood later for the siege. It costs food and gold, which is something we have in abundance. Wood is kind of the resource we're going to need a lot of in the castle age here. Alright, I'm going to make a couple of houses. And again, houses, you just sprinkle them wherever, whenever. And we're actually going to go with a second stable. It's important to get a second stable at this point because we're going to need good production of the cav. And we need to defend our siege. Our siege is all well and good, but if you cannot defend the siege, it's going to be bad. Notice at this point, I could be attacking, but I want to just put, like, for argument's sake here, this guy was almost dead. Now at the start of Castle Age, he's going to be almost full HP here. So that tech to heal your units is crucial. Very, very good. And I highly recommend you pick that up after you've done a lot of raiding in the early game. Alright, so now I'm going over to gold. I'm going primarily to gold. I've got a little bit of food income with the deer, and with the berries. Here they are. But I'm not overcommitting to food, and I'll tell you why in a second. The food will come from the build hall. We're going to double down on gold because it's just an easier thing to get to do, and we're going to get the specialized pick as well. Should have got that a little bit earlier, that's my fault. So wood upgrade, just to recap, and the pick upgrade, the gold stone upgrade, are the things you want to get on the way up. And the guild hall will go, it's going to automatically set the food, and that's good. In Castle Age, we get upgrade to veteran instantly and continue producing knights. We're also going to make a forward siege workshop. Notice we have exactly 300 wood. That's exactly what you want to see. Get a forward siege workshop. It doesn't have to be outside your opponent's base. It could be in the middle of the map, at the front of your base. It's okay. You don't need to be super far forward, super risky, okay? And now you want to continue sending vills between wood and gold. Whatever you need. Right now I'm floating a little bit of gold. I'm going to go send them mainly to wood. Alright? And it's very simple in the sense of, like, you can get a feel for it, but it's not as simple as a build order because at this point it's impossible to know how much resources you're going to have. The important thing is to have a good amount of gold, and it's okay if we float. I'll tell you why later. It's okay if we float. I have a good amount of gold and enough wood to get by with the siege. So here, when I go for the Springald, here it is, which costs 200 wood and 200 gold. And there it is. So Springald, and we go for the veteran royal knights here. Again, no blacksmith, no archer range. It's a very all-in build, but our opponent, well, in this case, will most likely be slower to the Castle Age or just booming, like multiple town centers, and we are going to punish that. The Springald is one of the strongest siege weapons, and I honestly can't believe how strong this is. Every time I use it, I get surprised about how good it is, and I'll show you in a second why. And again, floating gold is A-okay. A-okay. It's fine. Just make sure you're balancing that with the wood, because you need to at least be able to produce Springalds. And when you get to this position, you harass your opponent as much as possible with the knights and Springald. I'll show you how this looks like. Continue producing Springalds, continue producing your knights. I'm going to go ahead and make houses sporadically whenever you need them. You run it with the knights. If the guy's exposed, you run in the knights. Okay, so let's say first attack is going to be exposed. Now he's got spears. I don't want to fight spears head on. You poke with the Springald. Let's say, obviously it's AI, so it's hard to say. Poke with the Springald. As soon as he commits to taking it, then you fight. If he doesn't commit, you continue poking. And look at this. You're getting, like, such great harass. Killing multiple spears, forcing him away. Getting such great harass while not committing anything. Like, I'm not losing any units. I can just constantly harass this slowly. And I've got the knights. If he wants to commit, I let him commit, and then I attack. So, as soon as he gets too close, I commit. As soon as he runs away, let's say he's got too many spears, I'll back up. I'll continue poking. It's so oppressive, I promise you. It's so, I beat some high-level people with this. It's very oppressive. Alright. Continue doing the same thing. Rinse, repeat. You want to commit? He wants to commit. Back with the Springald, attack with the knights. He goes back, no problem. I don't mind. I'll attack you all day with the Springalds. All day. Continue poking him out. Continue massing. And you might be thinking, oh, Hera, that's a cool build, but you never really kill your opponent. You're just poking him out. Wait. The kill is coming. The kill is coming. But the important thing with the kill is to be patient. Continue poking. The kill is coming with the guild hall. It's got 300 food right now. We want to wait till it's at like 1,000 food. And alright, continue poking. And then 1,000 food, we're going to add a bunch of stables and just go to town. Continue making, or putting those to wood. If you want to put another lumber camp, feel free. Again, these are kind of small things you can do as you wish. And floating gold is a good thing because we're going to balance that all out with the guild hall. Although I will say in this case, I'm floating a little bit too much gold. So maybe I put like 9 on the second one and 12 here. Instead of 21, maybe 18 on gold would be fine, you know? Put the next 3 on wood, so I have a little bit more wood. The idea is I got constant production with the Springalds, and you can get more and more careless as you start to dominate him. Royal Cav can be taking out buildings in the meantime. There's a lot of things you can do, but the important thing is really just to poke him out with the Springalds, who can tank arrow fire quite well, by the way. And you can, feel free to go in even a little bit deeper and actually really poke here. So even if you're taking some town center fire, it's okay. Get a poke and run, for example, can be a very good strategy. Notice I'm constantly producing Royal Cav, houses, and Springalds, like non-stop as soon as I can afford them. When the gold runs out, put them on whatever resource you need. Berries, go to berries. A bit more gold, go to gold. A bit more wood, go to wood. No problem. At this point, when you're ready to go for the kill, guild hall stacking up. You're gonna go ahead and make multiple stables. So we were on 2, we're gonna go up to 4 now. And at this point, it's pretty subjective depending on what you can afford. 4 stables, 5 stables, only 3. If you took some damage at home, it's okay. The important thing is to go all in. Commit everything you've got now, and we're going to go for the kill. At this point, we've been poking him. We've been raiding. Feel free to run in with the Royal Knights if you want. You can run in, find damage, go back out. Whatever you can get. But don't lose your Knights in a bad engagement. Important to keep your Knights alive. That is the most important, in fact. Alright, back up. And again, it's just poking with the Springald here that's just so strong. And you can even kill buildings. It takes a lot longer to kill buildings with the Springalds, but they do like 10 damage per shot, so you can eventually poke out buildings, but it's not like the best thing, obviously, with them. Alright, so I'm gonna go up to 5 stables, so 4 stables plus the School of Cavalry. Again, we can go in, poke, run back if it's too risky. Obviously here I'm being very passive, versus the AI you can go crazy, but real players will have a lot more defensive options, so you don't want to go too crazy. You really want to save your play for the all-in here. And at this point, feel free to add a Treb if you want to put pressure on buildings. It's a good option to go for a Treb. I personally think Springald is better because it's going to come down to 1 fight in a second here. Alright, so as soon as you got the setup, you're going to go for 5 stables. Guild Hall, you take it at 1,400 or whatever, like as long as it's 1,000. All in with the cavalry now. You continue spamming, continue making Springalds, and our resources now 100% balanced. So we were floating 1,000 gold for a long time, but you just balance that with the guild hall. And it's not good to float too much gold, like I said, but floating a little bit is good because you want to balance that out with the guild hall, which is mainly taking food. At this point, feel free to stop build production. It doesn't really matter what you do, and the goal is to all in. You're gonna all in with your big army, and you have the resources to reinforce. Continue making houses, and you're gonna go straight for the TC, straight for the villagers, anything you can find. I would say avoid attacking the capital TC until you've killed everything around it. If it's an extra TC, which with less HP, like 2400, feel free to take that out instantly. But since he only has a capital TC, I'm gonna just go ahead and attack like everything else for now. And when I feel like I've got him, I've got the reinforcements coming in, then I'm gonna go for the capital TC. It must be noted at this point, you could have went for a blacksmith, pick up a blacksmith, pick up some upgrades. The reason why I don't like the blacksmith for this build, it takes wood, and wood you use for Springalds. Also, the upgrades take so long to kick in. However, I will say, if your opponent has mass archers, it's important to get the pierce armor. If your opponent has melee units like spearmen, you don't need the blacksmith. If your opponent has longbows or anything like that, crossbows, make sure to pick up the pierce armor. Also, feel free to mix in mangonels and trebuchets if you need them. But Springald is your go-to unit because the poke at long distance is so good at forcing your opponent's hand or making him panic and making him constantly think about what you're going to do to him. And at this point, you're just dominating him. Continue spamming whatever you need. At this point, you're floating wood, market's good. And notice I stopped dealing with the economy because the economy is only important to like the mid game. Or like the early part of the build. At this point, who cares what you have your economy as? If you got too much on wood, you can just make some farms, no problem. You can make some farms around your TC. It's all good. Balance your economy and try to play as best as you can at this point using the standard RTS principles, which is just spend your resources and put pressure. But the all-in is really here with the Knights and Springald as we take out the AI here. And of course, real humans would be much more threatening as a wolf here. But the concept is exactly the same. Poke them out with the Springalds, raid with the Knights, keep your Knights alive because they heal, and as soon as your opponent attacks your Springalds, that's when you commit. And you can even kill Spearman armies easily with the strategy because you're constantly poking them out with the Springalds. It's very easy to do, it's very strong, and the one downside is that it's not flexible. We don't put any vills on wood, so if you need to adapt with the range, you kind of can't, but it's the early aggression you get from the Knights followed up with the pressure you get in Castle Age with the Siege Knights makes this just so strong. And you can adapt it a little bit by adding more Knights in Feudal, as I said, but the main goal is to really put pressure with your opponent on your opponent in Castle Age, and then go for the all-in with the Guild Hall whenever you feel like you need that push. You go for it and you end the game. Win or lose, the game is going to be ended or over at that point. So take a look at the statistics here real quick. It doesn't really matter, but I think the one tab that could matter is the economy. We're mainly gathering gold and food, but of course wood is up there because you need it for the siege. But yeah, that's going to be it for the builder, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the Knights, or French Knights into Springald all in, and that's going to be our first builder in the Discord. So once again, make sure to check out the links below if you want to get access to my Twitch channel and to my Discord. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.